It's my way, my way, my way, my way, or the highway. Hello. Welcome back to the Wrestling Corner. We talk all things wrestling. Wrestlemania week continues. I'm going to keep going to this. I got the day off, so. Anyway, we're talking about Wrestlemania 19. That's right, live from Seiko Field in Seattle, Washington's. Walla Walla, Washington's. In 2003. A show that is uneven as hell. The first four matches are short, sweet. They go like that. And then the last four matches just drag on. Not only are they all almost or over 20 minutes long, but they put some things like, there's one match, HBK versus Y2J. Then they decide we're going to do they have Limp Bizkit come out and sing a song. My way is the highway. And then you're going to Crack Addict, actually what it is, Crack Addict, My Way. But I like that song too. Crack Addict. And then Catfight Girls thing happens. And then we got four more matches after that are also close to or over the length of that first one. And it seems, because I was watching this, I'm like, this is going pretty quick for these. And then once we got to HBK versus Y2J, it slowed the hell down. And you felt it. And you were like, oh. Because it was going so fast. And you get to these and you're just like, what is taking so long? These are the matches they wanted to last longer. And one of those matches, Triple H versus Booker T, not only should have been at least 10 to 8 minutes shorter, because of that 18 minutes or something, it should be at least 10 to 8 minutes shorter, but also should have had a different winner, and I'll get to that. Yes, WrestleMania 19. No America the Beautiful again. I watched this on the network, even though I have the DVD. I just dug it out. It was on top of the box of my wrestling DVDs that I have, so there it is. But yes, we start with the Cruiserweight Championship. Matt Hardy v. versus Rey Mysterio, who does not have his signature thingies. And the video game WWE Raw 2, not subtitled Ruthless Aggression, would also have a Rey Mysterio without the things. You could add it onto it. You could edit everything in there like you can now, but you used to not be able to. Although I wish they would allow more freedom with the masks of superstars. Because like Rey Mysterio, you can only use that one mask. There are other Rey Mysterio masks in the game. You can only use the one mask he has and customize that. Anyway, yes, Matt Hardy v. with the MFer Shannon Moore Cruiserweight Championship versus Rey Mysterio. Comes out looking like Daredevil. Because that movie came out, or was going to come out that year. It is no good movie. But the director's cut is better, but it's still not a good movie. This match is quick paced. Shannon Moore gets involved here. At one point, you think you have the finish, because Matt Hardy hits a twist of fate. Then Rey Mysterio kicks out of it, tries to go for the 619, and misses again. Shannon Moore gets involved again. At one point, Matt Hardy tries to go for a top rope side effect. Rey Mysterio, or twist of fate or something. Rey Mysterio reverses it into a hurricanrana. Goes again, but go for the 619 again, and Matt Hardy just rolls him up and grabs the rope and wins. Why couldn't he win with the finisher that was a couple minutes early? My theory, and I don't know if I'm right, is that they did this and they realized, oh, we're too short. We can't end it. So they had to make shit up at the end. I don't know. Taz has a line on commentary where he's talking about, I had no idea what the hell Taz was talking about when I was watching this, but I watched Brian Zane's video on it, Wrestling with Regret, and he put more context to it, because I heard BJ's and teabagging, and I'm like, what the are you talking about, Taz? Apparently, BJ's are referring to banana juices. And Matt Hardy's not doing banana juices. He doesn't do BJ's anymore. They drink tea. They drink tea. That's what they drink. He and Shannon Moore run the back tea bagging. That's the context to that. Cause, yeah. Well, Limp Bizkit is here. We get a recap first. It's supposed to be Undertaker and Nathan Jones versus Big Show and A-Train here, but they realized that, well, Nathan Jones, he's not so good in the ring. So they took him out of this match. And by doing that, during Sunday Night Heat, the FBI, the three most non-intimidating people on the SmackDown roster at this point. Nunzi also putts. The other two, Nathan Jones could have facepalmed all three of them. The Big Show was involved also. They attacked him in the shower and knocked him out, so he's not in this match, so it's a handicap match. Limp Bizkit sing Undertaker to the ring with Rollin', which was not his theme song at the time. But, you know, when you got Limp Bizkit, WWE's most favorite band in the world, apparently, even though they're not in the Hall of Fame, but Kid Rock fucking is. Yes, you have them there performing. Yeah, I mean, them in the Hall of Fame should be a no-brainer unless they tried and said no. I don't know. I'm surprised with Triple H and Charles, they haven't tried to get Motorhead into the Hall of Fame. Just saying. Yeah. So this is a standard handicap match. And wouldn't you know it, like halfway through the match, Nathan Jones comes out anyway and helps the Undertaker win. So it's like, so he wasn't good enough to actually be in the match, but he could be involved in the match, but he couldn't be. I never understood this, but yeah, Undertaker gets another notch on his 11-0, I think they say. So yeah, before we get to the women's title match, we get a recap of Sunday Night Heat. I like Sunday Night Heat back at this point. You get a regular show most of the time, but when it was time for pay-per-views, it would be basically a kickoff or pre-show where you get one match towards the end. And here, now, the World Tag Team Championship match was originally scheduled for WrestleMania. It was on when it went through the match card, it was there, and then it's not on the main card. And if you didn't know, it was taken off. Like, if you weren't paying attention, you didn't watch Sunday Night Heat, you wouldn't have known. You were just sitting there waiting. Unless you were live in the arena, you're sitting there going, what happened to the world? And then they just show you, oh, it happened on Heat. Even though it was advertised for the show. And the finish of this match makes no sense. Because, like, the whole thing was that the Dudley Boys were basically being forced by Chief Morley and Lance Storm. William Regal was injured at this point or something. Or it's a work visa thing, I don't know. And so, he wasn't there, so Chief Morley, who was Val Venus, but Chief Morley took his place. And they basically had the Dudley Boys, not gunpoint, but basically, hey, you gotta do what we say or else. And because they wanted a title shot. They do get the titles eventually, but I don't think it lasts. No, they don't. RVD and Kane do. But, yeah, so they're defending against RVD and Kane in this match. And at one point, the Dudley Boys hit the 3D on Lance Storm. And Devon throws Rob Van Dam in the ring. Van Dam goes for the pin. It looks like he's going to get the pin. But then Bubba comes in and attacks RVD and throws Lance Storm on top and helps them win. It makes no sense. Also, at some point, the Miller Lite Catfight girls show up. And I don't know when they show up. I don't know when. It's throughout the night, but we'll get they show up. Kingo's, of course, excited. His puppy radar is going off. And at one point, they're arguing in the back over who created Hulkamania, Mr. McMahon or Hulk Hogan. That's what one of Hulk Hogan. That's all one of the. And then first of all, it's Stacy Keibler and Tori Wilson who are arguing first, and then they're arguing, and they were settling in the ring, in bed, in the ring, in bed. I don't know how you settle something in bed, but I want to use that argument more often. You know, you with your wife or girlfriend, an argument. Oh yeah, you want to settle this in bed? What? Fine. You want to settle this? We'll settle this in bed. Next thing I know, she's throwing my ass off the bed. That's not what I meant, but thanks for the back pains. So yeah, we'll get back to them later. There's also an interview at some point where The Rock is being interviewed, much like the one from Wrestlemania 8. He go to Pie Face's coach and started talking about how the people let him down, the people, turned against him, all the whole thing. So, yeah. Anyway, the WWE Women's title is now on the line, and this is the ending we should have got last year. It's Trish versus Jazz versus Victoria, who is the champion, and Trish Stratus wins. Not in her hometown the year before. Oh, no. In the middle of Seattle, Washington, for some reason. Now it's okay for her to win. Not in her hometown, by all means, no. Now, a year later. It's like they realized, we should have done that. We'll just do it now. Situation. Victoria also coming out to not all the things you said. It's an instrumental version, but also a network dubbed instrumental version, so it's not quite sounding like all the things you said. All the things you said, running through my head, running through my head. I have not my mind. That song. When she comes out, she's like, yeah. You got like a network dub version of it, which is, we're not done talking about network dub themes, because, oh my God, Hogan. Yeah. With the WWE Tag Team titles, triple threat match, or hey, 2 people in the ring, the rest have to go for a tag. Why do they do this? I hate this. I hate it. It's not even a elimination match, so this makes even less sense. In that they should just be going at it, all 3. But no, it's Los Guerreros versus Chris Benoit and Rhino versus Team Angle. Team Angle retains. Move on. It's another quick match, and now we're going to slow down. We have 5 matches left, and this is a 4-hour show. So we're going to slow things down for 5 matches that are almost or over 20 minutes long. We start with HBK, Shawn Michaels, with Y2J, Chris Jericho. And it's all about Chris Jericho said he wanted to be the next Shawn Michaels, and then realized, I want to be the first Chris Jericho. And they would copy and paste this for Shawn Michaels' rivalry with Ric Flair at Bad Blood. Literally, I grew up wanting to be the nature boy. And it's literally just the same thing. You will always be Ric Flair, what I be. That thing. Yeah. So, this is a good match. At one point, Jericho's got the walls on the outside of the ring for some reason. And I always get a little iffy, because they'll put him in the, now this is outside of the ring, but they'll put him, some people they'll put in a finish move, and you'll see someone go, but they won't count that as a tap. That's just a frustration. I'm like, but why doesn't that count as a tap? Because like at one point, Shawn Michaels, he's on the outside of the ring, but he's put in there, and Shawn goes like this, and I'm like, isn't that a tap? Isn't that a tap? Doesn't that count as a tap? And he's on the outside of the ring, but so if he tapped, it wouldn't have mattered. But yeah, and again, they get back in the ring, they're running around, and then he gets put in it again, but he reaches the ropes. I think Shawn Michaels puts him in the walls of Jericho. Jericho uses the sweet chin music. I'm not a fan of having wrestlers use each other's moves. Because, you can't have them lose to that move. Because it's demeaning. It's like, oh, I beat you with your own move. But it is what it is. But, eventually, Shawn Michaels' sweet chin music wins. And then they embrace, they hug, and then lip balls Jericho, kick to the nuts. And he walks off. Yeah, I don't. And while this part of the rivalry would be done, they would have more of a rivalry later, especially in 2008 and stuff. But yeah. Now it's a piss break as we have Limp Bizkit performing Crack Addict, which is another decent song. 3, 2, 1. And then the catfight girl. So apparently when they said they want to meet in the ring or in bed, they decided we're going to do it on the stage. And we're going to have them not face the audience. We're doing it on a stage. We're going to have them. There's going to be a bed there. And the catfight girls come out. They're going to have a cat fight. But then Stacy Keibler comes out. And the king is just losing it. She comes out. And he's like, oh, JR. She's here. And then Tori Wilson comes out. And yeah, they have a bit of a cat fight that becomes sort of a bra and panties match. The catfight girls are barely hitting each other with pillows, and then the two women who know how to wrestle sort of are wrestling around. Well, the coach is just standing there. At one point, he gets tangled up in it because they bump into him and they roll over the top. He's like, and then they pants him, roll him up, and that's someone counts the three. I don't know what this is supposed to be, but dude, is this really why we cut the World Tag Team title match? I could say keep the World Tag Team title match on Heat for all purposes. Get rid of this and just move on. Keep going. Because when you have 4 more matches that are almost 20 minutes or more, we did not need this to be in there. It's the World Heavyweight Championship, Triple H versus Booker T. Yes, Booker T. Anamaya Campayon Booker T. Yes. And the story is racism. Though you'll never get anyone in WWE to admit that. But after what happened with Vince McMahon and his allegations, racism. Yes. Someone like Booker T could never be world champion. Psst, he's been world champion 5 times before this. Don't know if you know that. Not that he goes around, mention it or anything. But yeah, he's been world champion before this. I think it's 5 times. I don't know if he's ever actually said it out loud. But I think he's been a 5-time WCW champion. Don't know if he's ever said that though. But yeah, that's Triple H's whole thing. A guy like you, he's been to prison. He grew up on the streets. Blah blah blah. All that stuff. I think some of that is true. I don't know. Yeah. And much like with the Ric Flair match from WrestleMania 8, the wrong person won this match. Not only that, but Triple H thinks that he needs to have his matches be at least 20 minutes long. So that's why it takes this long. But not only that, this match is 18 minutes and 90 something, so almost 19 minutes. Could have been about 8 to 10 minutes shorter and have a different winner. I don't think Triple H needed a win here because everything was pointing towards it's supposed to be Booker T getting the rub, winning the title, and proving Triple H wrong. And whoever booked it said, no, Triple H wins. Let's have the guy who's been a racist. Let's have the guy who's grown up in a life of luxury. Let's have the guy who has all the money win. Because that's how the story works. And not only that, but they have this match. At one point, Booker T does a Harlem Hangover right on Triple H's head. Goes for the pin and gets a 2. And then he gets up, he gets Triple H up. Triple H hits a pedigree. Takes 30 fucking seconds to go to the pin. Barely gets his arm over, and that's 3. 3. It's like this. Triple H. Pedigree. Takes 30 seconds. I'm not gonna take the whole thing. Like fast forward. Comes over, puts one little thing on Booker T. 1, 2, 3. He didn't have the leg. He didn't have him fully covered. Just the little bit of his hand was on Booker T's chest. After waiting 30 seconds. That is bullshit. Everyone was there watching at home expecting Booker T to kick out. I knew Booker T wasn't winning, and even I was like, this can't be the finish. And it was. And I'm like, why did he take so long? I'm like, how long was it that he took? And thanks to Brian Zane again, 30 seconds. What? This feels like Triple H's ego saying, well, I'm winning. That's the finish. I'm just going to lay here and take my sweet time because I know that's the finish. And he has to lay there and take it. So he's basically just wasting time. Hulk Hogan versus Vince McMahon, and this has also connections to Rock versus Austin 3. So Hulk Hogan came back with the NWO back in 2002. It became very popular, turned babyface, and Vince McMahon didn't like that. He went away for a little bit. He came back, and Vince McMahon started like a feud with Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon booked him against The Rock in No Way Out. I think The Rock won. Or Hogan win. I don't know. I don't remember. But it's not over. We're going to have a no-holds-bar between Mr. McMahon and Hulk Hogan, which he forced Hogan to sign in his own blood. He stabbed him with a pen. Made him sign in his own blood, basically. And, he also has a crooked referee, Sylvain Grenier, which we will see later in this match. And, so if Hogan loses, he's fired. And if he wins, he's not fired, but kind of, sort of, yeah. We'll get to it. I'll explain when it's done. Hulk Hogan comes out to an immense cheers to a crappy network-edited dub version of Voodoo Child. I don't know why they don't just edit it over with Real American, because he still uses that now. The DVDs edited over with Real American. Yet, he comes out with his... It sucks. It sucks, and I don't know why. Some of the DVDs, this DVD would have had Voodoo Child, I think, when I bought it. But, yeah, Mr. Man comes out, or no pants, and that's what you got. Yeah. Brutal match, beating each other. At one point, Hugo Savinovich, one of the Spanish commentators, gets blasted with a chair because Hogan goes to hit McMahon. McMahon moves. Mr. McMahon hits a leg drop from a ladder onto the announce table, which is, when you see Hogan take a bump like that. At one point, Mr. McMahon he throws Hogan in. He goes to get the pin. He grabs the lead pipe, and you just see him come over the. Come on. Come up over there. I'm gonna have to go down on my knees to do this. Quit catching on the floor. I kill you. He comes up from underneath the ring like this, and he's just blood over his face. He hits Hogan with the pipe, kicks out. I think at one point, referee Brian Hebner gets involved. He throws Brian Hebner out of the ring, brings in his referee, tries to win, doesn't work. Hogan takes care of that referee. Taz yells, "Parlez-vous français?" He's Canadian. He's French-Canadian, but still. Not Taz, Grenier. And then someone in a trench coat enters the ring. It's Roddy the Piper. And he's got all that pipe. And he's taken forever to obviously hit Hogan with it, even though he's going like this, and he's motioning to Vince McMahon, and he keeps looking back at Hogan, no. But he's going to give Vince McMahon, but he keeps looking back at Hogan, no. And he's going to give Vince McMahon, oh, never mind. Hits Hogan with it, runs off. This man tries to get the pinfall, it doesn't work. Hogan finally gets back up, hits a leg drop. 1, 2, 3. They're both bloody messes, but Hogan wins. And it's the way to go. That's the way to go. Roddy Piper's involvement always makes me laugh, because the first time I ever watched this, I was like, what the hell is he doing there? Why is he wearing? And they're trying to make it look like he's going to hit Vince McMahon, but he keeps looking back at Hogan, because he has to make sure Hogan's ready for him to hit him. So he keeps looking back, and I'm like, well, if he keeps looking, he's obviously going to hit Hogan if he keeps looking back. So Rock versus Austin 3, or we have no more ideas, let's just put them together again one more time. Or, which is probably others, hey, Rock's going to leave, so let's have him beat Austin this time. And that's what it is. Hollywood Rock, he went to Hollywood, he came back, he changed, man. Fans turned against him. But it's Rock and Austin one more time. And this is a solid match. Again, don't think it needed to be 20 minutes, but they go back and forth. At one point, Jerry Lawler's freaking out because at one point, The Rock puts on Austin's vest. Then he starts getting his ass whooped, and Jerry Lawler's yelling, take it off, Rock, take it off, because he thinks it's bad luck. Bad luck since you put that on. And like, yeah. But The Rock does win with a rock bottom until he takes none of it. This match just goes way too long. I don't want to sit and talk too much about it. But yeah, it was kind of obvious. There's no way Austin could have gotten a trifecta. Rock had to win here, so it's obvious. Even when I first watched this, I'm like, well, they mentioned that Austin beat him the first 2 times, so it's obvious they just did this match so The Rock could win. So, yeah. The Rock would go on to face Goldberg, who would show up the next night on Raw. And then he would have a match at Backlash. By the way, going back to the world title match, the reason why it sucks that Booker T didn't win is he would never get a rematch. The Backlash match would be Booker T, Kevin Nash, and Shawn Michaels versus Chris Jericho, Ric Flair, and Triple H. He wouldn't get a rematch. So, yeah. And then after that would be Bad Blood. And of course that was Triple H and Kevin Nash in Hell in a Cell. So Booker T would kind of then be thrown into the Intercontinental Championship side of things, which Intercontinental Championship would come back at Judgment Day, but yeah. Main event, which kind of should have been Rock Austin if you really think about it, but this also works. Kurt Angle versus Brock Lesnar, WWE Championship. So, Brock Lesnar was the WWE Champion. He lost it to the Big Show because of a screw job from Paul Heyman. Then Kurt Angle won it from the Big Show at Armageddon, I believe. And he's been champion ever since. He's got Team Angle now. He's a heel. And Brock Lesnar came back at the Royal Rumble. He beat Big Show to get a spot in the Royal Rumble. So obviously he was winning the Royal Rumble. And he did that. Undertaker also came back at the Royal Rumble but didn't win because Lesnar was destined to win. So he did. So Lesnar's no number one contender. They had a match for the title on SmackDown. They had he's like, first of all, you got to win a gauntlet match. He has to face Team Angle. So he beats Charlie Haas with an F5. He puts Shelton Benjamin in the Angle. Simon wins that. He's ready for Kurt Angle, but Paul Heyman hits it with the chair. They all attack him, and there's no match. He finally gets a title shot, and then he comes in, he hits Kurt Angle with an F5 or so he thinks, but then Brock stops, and he's freaking out, and wondering what's going on, and then all of a sudden we see someone come from underneath the ring, wearing Angle's clothes, and throw Angle's, assumedly, Angle underneath the bottom rope, and then this guy rolls up Brock Lesnar for the 1, 2, 3, and it is Kurt Angle. The other guy was his brother Eric Angle, who they would then show him swapping. Whenever the lights kind of dim in an arena, pay attention because they're doing some sort of swap. They're doing something, putting someone underneath the ring, stuff like that. That's what it is. So, yeah. So now they finally have this one-on-one match at WrestleMania. This match is notable for the shooting star press, which doesn't do anything but hurt Brock Lesnar. I always thought this was the finish, but it's not. And I don't understand why it's not. And watching this, it almost feels like it was supposed to be, but Angle called an audible and moved out of the way. Because this match is brutal. They're going off on each other, beating each other up, and at one point, Lesnar gets the F5. Stephanie McMahon does say that if anyone gets involved on Angle's behalf, he'll be disqualified, he'll be stripped of the title, and the title will go to Lesnar. In all fairness, and no offense to Lesnar at this point, if he is to be stripped of the title and he gets disqualified or count out, whatever, all that happens, the title should be vacated, not just given to Lesnar. That's a little bit of a cop-out. Anyway, so Lesnar does go up. He hits an F5 but doesn't pin. Goes up, shooting star press, and as he about to land, Angle moves out of the way quickly. It's almost as if he decided he wasn't going to take the move. It does feel like he called an audible here. Because then it's a little bit wonky with the finish. Gets up, Legend just hits an F5 and wins. If he was going to do that, why couldn't he just done that without the shooting star press? Because Angle gets fucked up in this match. That shooting star press fucked up Brock, so now they're both messed up. Angle has to take time off. Brock is on camera, but not in ring because of the injury. So he's going to kind of, yeah. So if you're going to do that and end up injuring yourself, why not just go through with it? The only thing I think of is that Angle didn't want to get injured, but he was already injured. So I don't see why he didn't just take the move. It seems like very much he was like, nope, and moved. Because that's what it felt like. He's laying there and all of a sudden he's like, no, I'm not taking that. Like he saw how the Lesnar wasn't doing it right or something and moved out of the way. I don't know, but that's the finish. Both men can barely get up, and Lesnar is the WWE champion, so there's a crowning moment for you. It wouldn't be right away. He would feud with Cena, and then I think at Backlash he faces Cena, Undertaker a couple times before he finally turns heel again and loses the title to Angle at SummerSlam before winning it again, but then losing it at the No Way Out to Eddie Guerrero. So, and there you have it. WrestleMania 19. Yeah, it's a solid show. It just, you can feel. You didn't need a catfight stuff. And the last, add the tag team title match. Shorten the other ones. We didn't need this to go as long as it did. The last 5 matches are long and they feel long. And it's only like 20 minutes or so. But when the first 4 matches are very quick paced, they're all under 10 minutes apiece. And then you have to sit and watch these for almost 20 minutes apiece. Yeah, because it adds up. 20 times 5. 2, 4, 6, 8. 80 minutes. No, 5. 2, 4, 6, 8. 100 minutes. That's 100 minutes. That's almost 2 hours. If there's one more match, it'd be 2 hours. That's almost 2 hours of sitting there. Again, I'm rounding up to 20 minutes, but yeah, it's almost 2 hours. Give or take 20 minutes. But yeah, no, it's just no. But it is decent for a WrestleMania. As far as the WrestleManias I've done so far, this was still good. 17, 18, and 19 are solid. But we have one more WrestleMania left to go. That's right. Which one is it? You're going to have to tune in tomorrow to find out. It's a surprise. Yes. All I will say, to give a hint, is it was a monumental WrestleMania. It was a big one. It was historical in more ways than one. More ways than one, which I'll get to in my review. And that's it. So, what are your thoughts on WrestleMania 19? Let me know in the comments. Like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I'm Sky, and I'll see you in the next one.